Hello, I'm Mr. Parker, and I live on Music Street. We're all at home right now trying out this weird new way of learning, so why don't we turn music class into a TV show? Here's how we do it. First we do a warm-up and we dance upon the ground. Then put the words on the tips of our tongues and twist them all around. We take our vocal cords and then we get them all relaxed. Then echo songs for me to sing to you that you sing back. Then we'll sing in canon just for fun, 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 fun. Reach into the grab bag, see what we can find. Books galore and stories so we don't all lose our minds. What's in Mr. Parker's house? Don't you wanna know? Then stuff for you to do after you finish up the show. It's the house on Music Street.
I know, it's a lot, right? Oh, that looks good, Ted. Oh, sorry. Ted didn't tell me that we were rolling. Thanks, Ted.
Sorry.
You caught me in the middle of playing one of my all-time favorite games, the How Many Chins Can You Make game. Try it. How many chins can you make? Go. Ooh, that's a lot. Nice work. Anyway, I'm Mr. Parker, and thank you for joining us for the 8th and final episode of the first season of The House on Music Street. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Thank goodness this is all over. You might also be thinking, Mr. Parker, is there going to be a second season of The House on Music Street? And the answer is, probably not. It's a lot of work.
Aww. Body warm up.
Hey there, astronaut. Here is some advice. Put a toothbrush in your pack to guard against space plaque. You better be a really good flosser if you're living in a flying saucer. And do you know why? 'Cause there's no dentist on Neptune. There's no dentist on Mars. There's no dentist on Jupiter. So don't eat too many candy bars. Don't ignore your dental hygiene if you eat lots of astronaut ice cream. Cleaning your teeth is very important. Keep it in mind when you're in orbit.
Don't forget that you could get a cavity where there's no gravity. Don't forget that you could get a cavity where there's no gravity. If you're flying with satellites, you got to brush those pearly whites. If you're flying with satellites,
You gotta brush those pearly whites. 'Cause there's no dentist on Neptune. There's no dentist on Mars. There's no dentist on Jupiter. So don't eat too many candy bars. Don't ignore your dental hygiene if you eat lots of astronaut ice cream. Cleaning your teeth is very important. Keep it in mind when you're in orbit.
let's take a look back at some of our best and most fun activities from Season 1. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. I am phoning it in on the final episode with a clip show.
Phoning it in with the clip show, but there's still gonna be some new stuff too. Yeah. Tongue twisters. What a strange journey the tongue twisters have been this year. They were introduced to us by Johnny Caw, who worked on the show for the first few episodes but hated it, so he retired in episode 3. Then, upon getting home, he realized he had second thoughts, so he came out of retirement but put on a quote-unquote space helmet and pretended to be his non-existent brother Donnie. When I didn't buy that, he came back the next week with a fake beard, talking in a cowboy voice and calling himself Lonnie Caw. Then he grabbed a crayon and claimed to be Ronnie Caw, then Bonnie, then Connie, then Thawny, before finally coming clean that it was him all along and that he regretted retiring. But despite all these superfluous Johnny Caw-related drama and distractions that seemed to only be enjoyed by my friend Omar in Texas, there were a lot of interesting tongue twisters that we did along the way too. We found 6 socks that sat in a sink. We did a 2-part toboggan extravaganza. We found one behind a painting of my favorite wooden boat. I wrote one for my daughter that was complete nonsense because I couldn't find any tongue twisters about space for our space episode. We went from Wibbleton to Wobbleton. It was 15 miles. We learned of Betty Birdie's unfortunate bitter butter purchase. Betty Birdie bought some butter, but the butter tasted bitter. Betty Birdie bought some butter, but the butter tasted bitter. And we sat on a stump. Or, well, a skunk did. I consider this one to be the hardest of all, just based on how many tries it took me to correctly film it. How fast can you say it now, after not having seen it for about 5 weeks? Give it a try. We went up, we went down, we went all around for these. In prehistoric times, I found a spiky dino toy in my son's bedroom and taped it to a broom handle to make it climb up and down a mountain range. You guys at home absolutely dominated the slide whistle guessing game in episode 2. Then the following week, I told the extremely true story of a musical elevator at my old work. These glockenspiel echo patterns infused some staff reading concepts into our musical diets. In episode 5, I phoned it in with some yawns. Last week, I drew this bird and had some fun with instant replay. But my favorite vocal warm-up of all was in episode 6, the Hallway 500.
Oh, it's the pink bug.
Even though this is largely a clip show, we're still going to sing some, so let's warm up our voices and give it one more go, shall we? Follow the ups and downs with the highs and lows of your voice. Now it's time for everybody's favorite, the Echo Song, or as I call it in class, a My Turn, Your Turn song. So many fun Echo songs to choose from. Almost none of them made any sense. In Oh My Aunt Came Back, our aunt went a lot of places and brought us lots of useless gifts. From the county jail, and she brought with her a water pail. Auntie, what'd you do? There was one called In the Woods about a special tree. And the tree was in the hole, and the hole was in the ground, and the green grass grew all around, and the green grass grew all around. Then one the very next week about a wood pile that would have resulted from cutting down said special tree. Johnny on the fence. In the space episode, I threw together a homemade Echo song at about 11:30 at night after watching the series finale of Homeland. BLUTO SOSAD always in our hearts. Still a planet to me. We also went to Alabama after that. And if the train don't stop and turn around, I'm Alabama bound. And then last week we had a very generic and unremarkable one about birds flying overhead. Up above my head, there are birdies in the air. But my favorite echo song of all is one that actually does make sense. Let's take a walk down memory lane and sing Purple Light one more time. Purple light in the canyon, that's where I long to be, with my three good companions, all together, my knapsack, my pony, and me. Whippoorwill in the tree there sings a song, a melody for my three good companions, my knapsack, my pony, and me. Gonna hang my sombrero from the limb of a tree over my three good companions, my knapsack, my pony, and me. No more cows to be roping, no more strays shall I see, just my three good companions, my knapsack, my pony, and me. Yeehaw. The House on Music Street behind-the-scenes fun fact: after watching episode 2, which featured Purple Light, my brother texted me this. Draw a horse, you coward! Hey Grant, thanks for watching. Hey. Canon. Our canon started off with Mina, Dina, Dinah, Dus, which I could never revisit because my witch drawing scared my son. Next week was much less terrifying with the first appearance of our friend Kookaburra. We learned how to wash our hands. Rub your hands together, rinse them clean. We went golfing on the moon.
We go golfing on the moon. We go golfing on the moon.
We counted litter.
Don't throw your junk in my backyard, my backyard, my backyard. Don't throw your junk in my backyard's full.
We all got bummed out by this poor bird.
Take thy flight, take thy sorrows of this far above the sorrows of this.
And I tossed around a visual aid. Remember Rocky Mountain? Let's sing it once more for old time's sake.
Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, Rocky Mountain, hang your head and cry, Mountain, hang your head and cry. Do remember me? Do remember me? Do remember me? Do remember me?
And now a word from our sponsor. Actually, a word to our sponsors. We'd like to thank all of you who sponsored the show through this season, including The House on Mango Street, iMovie, still garbage, Orange Juice, Nieces and Nephews, Seinfeld, rips to George's dad, Rust, Toddler Karate School, The 4-Year-Old Comedy Tour,
It's hard to tell jump when you're just a dinosaur.
and Cornstarch, which I still resent. This week's episode is brought to you by riding a trike with a bucket on your head in a backyard full of weeds. How bored are you right now? Want to take a ride on the wild side? Dump your bath toys out of the bucket, plop it on your head, and then just start pedaling. Riding a trike with a bucket on your head in a backyard full of weeds. Hey, it's safer than skateboarding off the roof.
That was so funny, huh?
On a personal note, I believe the grab bag was my favorite part of the show. It was totally different every week, and I never knew what was going to show up in there. One week we might be guessing how many keys there are on a piano, and the next we'd be roller skating in a buffalo herd.
You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd.
Another time we learned about a frog who went a-courtin' with a gourd and a thistle by his side.
An owl and a bat and a bumblebee. King Kong, kitchy, kitchy, kitchy.
I shamelessly self-promoted a new birthday song that I wrote as an alternative to the current garbage one that we all know and loathe. We hope your cake is 10 feet tall. Ted told me I stink.
You stink.
Then we spun the wheel of Ida. Last week, Ted put a frog in there, and then Mother Goonie Bird let her 7 little chicks in the Goonie Bird dance. House on Music Street fun fact. I popped the question in that bird suit about 7.5 years ago. But my favorite grab bag of all was our very first one. So yes, boys and girls, it's time once again to play Handy Dandy Riddle Row. Go find your old scoreboard if you still have it, but if you don't, just whip up another one real quick. Oh, and get 5 things to help you keep score. Okay, pause the video now and go get those things. I'm going to change the order from episode 1, just in case you memorized it. And
I can't wait to win. Here we go. First round goes like this. Handy dandy riddly row. Which hand do you pick? High or low? Ooh. It was low. Handy dandy riddly row. Which hand do you pick? High or low? It was low. Handy dandy riddly row. Which hand do you pick? High or low? Let's see. Oh, it was in the high hand. Handy dandy riddly row. Which hand do you pick? High or low? High hand had nothing in the low. Ready? And here we go. Handy dandy riddly row. Which hand do you pick? High or low? Oh, it was low.
what's in Mr. Parker's house? Don't you wanna know? Now, you may be saying to yourself, hey, you skipped one. What about books galore and stories so we don't all lose our minds? To that I say two things. Number one, you are an astute viewer. And 2, I switched the order because we're doing a new book today, And quite frankly, it's the perfect way to end. So that'll come later. Hey, let's look back on... We toured the piano. We toured my acoustic guitar amp. We got a look at the melodica given to me by an old flame from college. We learned about the extremely spacey automaton. I humbled myself and attempted to play trumpet. I showed you a tour of the musical art all around my home, including this little music box on a shoe that matches this big music box that plays this Neil Young song. In our books and stories segment, we started off strong out the gate by going up to the penthouse to read the sentimental and hopeful Forever Young. May you stay forever young. From there, episode 2's story was a total dud, as I told the utterly forgettable tale of Mrs. Wiggle and Mrs. Waggle. In episode 3, we tugged on the heartstrings once again with Over the Rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Then the following week, we played a game where you had to guess the rhyming word to fill in the blanks as Seth went on an adventure that took him from a totem pole straight into outer space. Well, the totem pole made a goofy face, so he left and went to outer space. Very normal adventure for a young boy. Episode 5 featured our healthiest story of all, which I can attest to because right after filming the segment about Aiken Drum, I gobbled him up right down to his uncooked noodle feet. And his head was made of broccoli, and his name was Aiken Drum. Then the following week, we went out to the pool house to learn about a fish who blub, blub, blubs. And last week featured the Kookaburra's Revenge. He's counting all the trees, counting all the monkeybirds. That's not a monkey, that's not Kookaburra. For our final story today, I looked for a book that offered reflection and comfort and closure. Come with me as we go back where we started, to the penthouse. If today's book doesn't hit you right in the feels, then you should call a doctor and get a chest x-ray because you might be missing a heart. See trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I hear babies cry. I watched them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
Stuff for you to do after you finish up the show.
All right, boys and girls, that's it. That brings us to the end of season 1 of The House on Music Street, and probably the end of the show, period. I want to thank you for being with us all season long. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Ted.
Oh, really?
Ted,
Yeah.
you're the best in the business.
Oh, cool.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, thanks, boss.
We may not always see eye to eye,
No, we do.
and you may not be very good at your job,
Hey.
and you also may be completely fictional.
Who, me?
And I'm just talking to the wall right now.
No.
But either way, I'm glad you're on the team.
Oh, thanks.
It's been great having you here.
I love you too.
I'd also like to thank Johnny Caw,
You're welcome.
but most of all, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you're one of my students, or if you're just some random kid watching this in Singapore, I'd like to know what was your all-time favorite activity from the whole series. You can look back through old episodes on YouTube if you want to, or if there's one that just sticks out in your mind, it's probably handy dandy. Email it to us at thehouseonmusicstreet@gmail.com. Or you can just sign our guest book on our GeoCities page. It's geocities.angelfire/tripod.angelfire/houseonmusicstreet339. Thank you again. And your other assignment is to have a great summer. Hags! See you at the pool! No, I won't. Pools are closed.
It was the house on Music Street.
3.